Hello and welcome everybody. Hello. Hi, how are you? I'm Tuber JP and this is the Academic Foxhole. And how are you doing? What are you doing? What is happening? What is going on? I have thoughts and feelings to share with you today. Hi. Hey, Millie. I don't know, Millie was sad that I'm not going to play the banjo today because I've just been a little bit, swamped. I haven't been able to play at all since the last time I played on stream. I have got a large amount of things to do at the moment, and they have been weighing upon all of my time. Hello? I do not seem to be muted for me. Because it looks like I'm sending audio out. Maybe a little bit too much audio. Okay. I don't think I'm muted. Y'all, Void Smoker, the art you did for Princess Nalini is amazing. Amazing. Y'all. I have a topic I want to talk with you about, but it will be a long topic, which means we should start the game so we can talk about the topic. Yes. So, look, what else do I want to tell you? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this so that we can talk about the game. Talk about the topic. Yeah. So, listen, because I believe what we're doing right now is, we're playing the Outer Worlds, in case you don't know. And we are going through this building, and murdering everything. Is what's going on. Just going through the building, murdering all the things, but really I want to talk to you, about something. It's a gaming situation. So there was a Discord that I was on a while ago that I used to sort of frequent, but the people on that Discord, it was a gaming Discord, RPG gaming, but the people in that Discord were, hey everybody, that the people on that Discord were, let's say we had very different ideas about various gaming things. You know what I mean? Like, we saw things differently in ways that sometimes surprised me. And I should eat food. I thought to myself, you know what? This particular Discord is giving me a little bit of agita. It is just stressing me out a little bit. So I think I will not hang out here. So I kind of stopped hanging out at that place because it was stressing me out a little bit. What? I need to find food, right? Like, here, salt tuna, that's food. Okay, so I, did not hang... Oh. Hello, lots of dead bodies. So basically, right, on this webpage, on this one Discord, I basically sort of stopped hanging out there because I found it a little bit too stressful. It's food adjacent. Yeah, I found it a little bit too stressful, so I stopped hanging out there. You know. Anyway, I ended up hanging out there again recently. I started hanging out there again. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know. It's a good question. Hey, there are a lot of places here we haven't been. Systematic. So anyway, I was hanging out there again. Talk faster. I have to drop off builds. Okay, I got it. Yes. So there was a whole conversation that went on, and I was like, what is going on here? Anyway, so the conversation involved, we have been to this room. Great. So the conversation, we're going to go up and then we'll go all the way down. So the conversation was about social skills. Uh, I don't know how we got on this topic, but I think I had said something about. Really, honestly, I'm not quite certain how we got on there. It was one of those conversations that ended up being about social skills, and I think I had said something around along the lines of there being a problem when games have. Oh, you know what? I know exactly how it started. I know how it started. People were talking about social skills in Fate, and somebody had. Oh, hi. Hi, excuse me. Somebody had asked, is provoke the only social skill in Fate? And I said, by by rules, like technically, by the rules itself, yes, provoke is the only social skill in Fate, but I allow provoke. I allow rapport to also be a social skill because I like the symmetry of having two physical conflict skills and two social conflict skills. Also, it gives you the ability to do bad cop and good cop. So generally speaking, I thought it was a grand thing to do. Uh, and this prompted the response, well, you don't really need social skills at all in an RPG. Like you. Also, where did this weight come from? I am currently over encumbered, and I normally am not in this game. I mean, I used to be, but yeah. Well, yes, Krellin, fate skills are custom defined by the game needs, right? So that was a thing. But what was interesting is the conversation went to the space that uh, we don't. You don't actually need social skills at all because social skills are just really all you need to do is just Rissa, here's where it goes. They were like, well, you don't need social skills at all. You just RP it. All you have to do is RP it. Like, you don't need social skills. You just need to RP it. And I was like, well, there's a problem with just RPing it. The problem is that then means that if you do not have social skills in real life, then you cannot play a social character in a game, right? That would be one of the consequences. That you're limited basically to only being a good social character if you personally are a good social person. And that would then, A, mean that people who are socially awkward don't get to play social characters. But also people who might be neurodivergent and don't have those skills because they just don't have them and cannot acquire them are then also not able to be social characters. And that seems to be an accessibility problem. Also, even if a person did have social skills, it then becomes basically without any kind of in real life. Then it also means that it all becomes just the GM decision whether or not you were social or not. Like they just get to decide. Um, and no, Millie, yeah. So if you, yeah, so what, right? And so, oh, so no, makes the awkward person to be a con artist, absolutely. And Millie was like, what if my social skills are far better than my character's social skills? That also is just what happens, right? You don't need combat skills, just RP, which was my point. Like, we don't make them do that with combat. And Krellin was like, there's a certain breed of OSR person that thinks social interactions shouldn't be gamified for some reason. And Krellin, this was an OSR person. It turns out I was like, where are you coming from? You're like a heavy social person, like you're like a big like narrativist gamer, or you? Oh no, you're an OSR person that doesn't think. Hello, Ice Bunny, who does not think that social interaction should be gamified. Yeah, and Krellin, you nailed it. This was an OSR person. And I was trying to point out that like there are a number of things that happen when you don't have social skills. A, people who are not good with social skills don't get to play social characters. It all becomes GM fiat. OSR is old school renaissance or old school revival, which was a trend which is still happening, where a bunch of people became really interested in playing RPGs the way they were played back in the day. But what that means to them is basically only the Moldve, maybe Metzner, but mostly only the Moldve 1981 version of basic and expert D&D. And they have made new versions or hacks of those sort of new new games that use 1980 style art and that are based off of Dungeons and Dragons 1981 Basic and Expert for the most part. Hey, Steph the Bard. Hello, hello. And what I find really interesting is that OSR people tend to not like Advanced D&D First Edition, even though that came out before the Basic Expert version that they really, really like. They also don't tend to be interested in any other games that were also happening in 1977, 81, 82. They are almost exclusively Basic and Expert Dungeons and Dragons, either the Moldvay from 1981 or the Metzner, which was like, I think, a year or two later. And they then use those basic rules to create either new versions of D&D of that style or other games in other genres. Are there any OSR people actually who are actually 50 plus, so they actually played BECMI when it was fresh? That's actually a very good question. A lot of the people I know who are OSR people were not alive at the time. I think some of them might have been, but a lot of them were not. There were definitely some serious problems with those. Yeah. I mean, in some game where social doesn't matter, it's taking up space can be a waste, but that is a rare scenario. Yes. Which, look, I feel like do what you want to do, right? Do what you want to do. But one of my quibbles with the OSR, hey Hawkeye, is that when they describe what it was like to play back in the day, their descriptions do not match my experience in any way. They'll say things like, you know, D&D back in the day was about rulings, not rules. We didn't care about rules back in the day. It was very free form. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they'll say things like, everybody accuses D&D as being about combat all the time, but it wasn't about combat at all. It was really just about exploration. And you know that's true because you could get XP for gold pieces. And so you just didn't have to fight at all. You would just go and get these gold pieces. And like everyone says that D&D's Murder Hobo, and D&D is Murder Hobo now, because now D&D is the worst. Ever since they left the original Basic and Expert, it became a Murder Hobo game. But back in the day, it wasn't about murder hoboing at all. It was about exploration. And I was like, I do not know what games you were playing. I was there, and let me tell you what, it was a lot of Murder Hobo. It was a lot of Murder Hobo all the time. And there were a lot of, I was like, how do you think you got those gold pieces? You murdered things to get them. You know what I mean? Because in terms of like sneaking around and stealing, only the thief could do that. Everybody else had to like murder things to get it. That's all I'm saying. Millie says, I like the Basic Expert Master books. Even had the original books given to me at one point in the story, but you could play a halfling, but you couldn't play a halfling thief. You could play a halfling or a thief. Correct, because halfling was a class. No matter how thin you slice it, it's still baloney. Yeah, no, like I own those. I was like, I don't like, and the thing is, they describe this thing, and usually OSR folks are kind of anti-modern D&D, and by modern we kind of mean everything past. Well, we actually just mean they're mostly really only about B and X. And so what ends up happening is that you get a lot of games that are like, so for example, Stars Without Number is an OSR game because it is basically Traveler if Traveler were made using the basic or expert rules of D&D. So there's like a lot of like Lamentations of Flame Princess is an OSR game. There are a bunch of games that are basically inspired by a basic expert D&D. And it started with somebody reformatting and redoing the basic and expert rules. And so now there are a bunch of games that have been made. Dungeon Crawl Classics is one. Lamentations of the Flame Princess is one. Stars Without Number is one. There are a bunch of these games that came out that were really basically gaming was better back then. Oftentimes by people who were not back then. And also, this is very important, they will get really mad at you if you say that what they're doing is nostalgic, because they say what they have to do has nothing to do with nostalgia. This is very important to them. Yeah, Dead by Humans were classes. They were, Millie. Clearly, these are people frustrated by wokeness, treating marginalized people with respect. Hey, Lone Coo. It's weird because there has been a new movement in, well, okay. So, Steph the Bard, you say that, and I'm going to be fair. I'm going to defend them first, and then I'm going to lay into them big time. And the one defense would be there has been a more recent movement in OSR called Sword Hope, maybe? I can't remember exactly the little hashtag they gave for it, which was people who are like, hey, we're not gross and mean. We want to be progressive as well. So there is a progressive move in the OSR. Okay, chat. Chat is being deputized to make sure I log off with enough time to eat food and get into costume for Tidal Blades. Thank you. Go gaming. Go gaming. But I will say, hey, Heskip, I will say, Steph the Bard, that you are not incorrect, that a number of people, no, but you do need to know that while there is a more modern sort of group of people who are part of the OSR who want to be progressive, um, uh, Millie, what that means, I should probably get off no later than 3:15 is probably when I should stop, no later than 3:15. But while there was,
Come on to
oh,
my house.
come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you everything. Welcome in, Raiders. Hey, thank you, one lucky cow. Hoot, hoot. We're an owl paying you to visit. Hoot. Thank you, Katniss.
Somebody's watching me.
I always feel that somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Bow, bow, bow. Thank you for that follow. Thank you. Thank you very much. So aiming for a mythic pass is often a red flag for me, especially if that pass was they were never a part of. Yeah. I've been in and out of the hospital for a while. Oh, I just went pink last Saturday for a one shot. It's not always wokeness, an wokeness thing. Some people just like to play the way we used to and want to keep it that way because they enjoy it. Thank you, one lucky Kai, for the compliment on my voice. I like to give a bit of a song when people come on in. By the way, what were you all streaming? Tell me what you were streaming and what you're doing, and also how you're doing today. Let me know. So one of the problems with I would say, Hawkeye, one of the problems with a lot of the OSR is that how we used to play is often not how anybody I know used to play. Like, they have an imagination of how people used to play. They often weren't actually there. So that's like a weird thing. But what I will say this is that the OSR folks who, like a lot of the very founding people of the OSR folks, were actually really awful. And a lot of the people who are big advocates of the OSR are also really awful. Zach S. was a big OSR guy, and he has a lot of sexual assault in his background. Wenger Satanis, like a bunch of people who are like just really sexist, racist, and abusive, terrible people, and like bullies and kind of awful people were some of the big movers and shakers in OSR for a really long time. And then there became this whole like OSR versus indie war that was going on where people would like say really awful things about each other and they would go on and on and on about it. And it was like just really bad and unfortunate. So there has been a move of a bunch of people, some people nowadays, Sword Hope, something like this, who have tried to reclaim the OSR from that group of bad actors and do something sort of different with it and make it maybe a bit more welcoming and fun and cool. But that's sort of like the history of RPG Pundit. Yeah. Zach S. and RPG Pundit are two of the big OSRs, and they are kind of not great people. One Lucky Kai says, I was playing Dead by Daylight. Ooh, Dead by Daylight. I've heard really good things about that. I've seen some people stream it. I've not played it yet. And then you switch over to Stardew Valley. I've also seen a lot of people play that one, and everybody I know really likes it. Curry. Wait, One Lucky Kai, you're gonna make yourself some curry. What kind of curry? Like, what kind of curry you're making? Because I do like a good curry. There was this one Indian place that made this really delicious yellow curry that was spicy and delicious, but that place closed, and I've not been able to find a replacement that makes me happy. So, interestingly enough, that Zweihander guy was considered one of the people that was like part of this like new movement, but that was trying to like move away from the grossness. But his game Zweihander was not based off of basic or expert D&D, but it was based off of Warhammer Fantasy, which is interesting. But most of the OSR folks are only doing basic and expert D&D. usually Moldve, sometimes Metzner. In the very beginning of OSR, there were some OSR folks that were doing first edition AD&D, but it's basically very quickly become almost exclusively basic and expert D&D, which is interesting because like when Stars Without Number came out, which was basically Traveler, if Traveler was basic and expert D&D, I thought, but Traveler is from the old school. Like it's weird to me, if you want to play old school, you could just play old school Traveler. You could just get the little black books and play Traveler because Traveler existed in the old school. But the old school's not really about the old school. It's just about basic and expert D&D, and sometimes in ways that I do not recognize having played basic and expert D&D back in the day. It's just an odd thing. But to go back to the point that Krellin was noting, there are a group of people in the old school who do not believe you should have any mechanics for social rules, for social interactions. And I was like, but there are problems with that, in that all of a sudden people who are not good at social skills in real life can't play social characters. The best thing about Stars with Numbers is its new thing, which is its planet system creation system, which is actually pretty new about it. I think that's actually pretty cool. And yes. And there were a lot of things that were interesting about playing D&D back in the day, but I'm not quite certain. Anyway, so they were like, so I was trying to point out the fact that that can be very ableist, that can be gatekeepery. Half-Oz Hermit! How are you? How are you? How have you been? What have you been up to? And let me read this for a second. OCI Cerebral Committee Minutes. The meeting began with a traditional recitation of a passage from the Spacer's Choice user manual, followed by regulation roll call. Every member of the Cerebral Committee was present. A motion to implement the revised guidelines on linguistic cleanliness and company-approved language was brought to the table. The motion passed unanimously. A motion to award Miriam Kumara and Lawrence Goodfellow with commendations, these people are terrible, on their permanent record was brought to the table. The motion was passed unanimously. This is terrible. Those people were hiding the problem with Adrenatime. You know what? Whatever. A motion to file demerit on the permanent record of Dr. Jasper Lowe and Dr. Marion Blakesley was brought to the table. The motion passed unanimously. These two, a few people are trying to stop. This corporation, Spacer's Choice is the worst. I mean, it's not the only choice. It's not just Spacer's Choice. It's your only choice. It's not, yes. A motion to redact any record of derelict employees, missing employees, employee desertion, or incidents of workplace violence from official company documents was brought to the table. The motion was passed unanimously. You all are a problem. A motion to dismiss the meeting early was brought to the table by Lawrence Goodfellow in the spirit of conviviality and good humor. The motion was likewise passed unanimously. The Cerebral Committee adjourned for 0G and cigarettes. Look, I'm going to tell you what. That's some shenanigans. Oh, Half-Arsed, thank you for the compliment on my beard. I decided to go pink. And I am very happy with that decision. Is what I'm going to tell you. Also, Spacer's Choice is just really awful. They're just like an awful, awful company. And this is how very fancy for them. Like, look how fancy this place is. They've got, like... These people are kind of terrible, is all I'm saying to you. This is just all I want to say. And I do not approve of their corporate shenanigans. Millie says, I know it's off topic, but I have to really thank you. Oh, what for? I found you through Tidal Blades. Oh, and I haven't managed to keep up there, but you and the people I've met because of you have changed my life for the better and not in minor ways. Oh, like completely transformed my life on a daily basis, the very fabric of my day-to-day existence, and I greatly needed it, and I appreciate it, so thank you. I just really wanted you to know how much of an impact you had. Oh, Millie, thank you very much for that. I try to keep, I try to create a good space, you know what I mean? And I try to be thoughtful and add...
No one with an honest job has an office this nice.
That's fair. And I try to keep... I just try to make a positive impact on the world. And that you said that is very kind. Thank you. Thank you. You know, and by the way, Millie, thank you for thank you for being here. You have been. I love the voice you've added to the space, and so thank you. And you're gonna make me all. You're gonna make me all emotional, and so I appreciate that. Thank you. Um, the thought was about social, and I also noticed that sometimes there's a problem when if the I said if you have a game that has where you have to actually invest resources to be good at social things. And then your GM lets people who do have not invested those resources in social things achieve all their social needs, all their social wants without rolling because the RP was good. That means that that character is double as effective as a character that specialized in social things. Right? Because the person who did not specialize in social things can spend all the resources in being good in combat, and then they can just RP the social things and get what they want that way. And the person who invested all the resources in social things, but then did not have the resources to invest in combat things, will not be good at combat because they don't let you just RP combat by saying like, I'm going to punch you in real life and see if I'm successful. And then, you know what I mean? So there's a way in which I was like, this is a problem. And, their point was that, no, we just don't need, we just basically social rules are, and then they actually got to the point where I think that like social mechanics are bad. That became where it sort of started going. By looting all the things, yes, I'm looting all the things. And they're like, actually social mechanics are bad because they take away player agency. And it was this thing that was, it's a very one form of OSR where they really feel like players and their characters are kind of like here. And we ended up talking about like, and I was like, well, they don't make you do that. They don't make you be good at physical combat in real life if you want to play. And they're like, well, they do in LARPs. And I was like, well, not all LARPs. Like, in some LARPs, like you have to be able to actually be physically good. And I was like, yeah, which could also be a problem that if you want to play a master mage, that the only way to throw a fireball is to actually throw a beanbag at somebody, and you personally don't have very good aim, then you're a really great master mage. No matter what's on the paper, will never be able to be good at fireballs. And they're like, well, you just shouldn't play a mage then. If you're not good at physical combat, just don't play a LARP. And I was like, also there are LARPs that don't do that, that don't rely on player skill. And they're like, oh yeah, but things like Vampire, that's not even a real LARP because they use like RPG mechanics, so it's not even a real LARP. And I was like, and then I was like, right. And then Carl's like, no touching is one of the major rules in LARPs. They're thinking of boffing, which is different. They are thinking of boffing, but they would say, well, no, early LARPs are totally different. And So they have this whole thing, right? And then they went to this whole space, and I was like, this is so bizarre to me. They were like, and anyway, things like Vampire and all that, they've got really problematic rules that are really a problem. It's like what? They're like, for example, players saying that they're invisible. So you've got some player who's like, I'm invisible, but as a fellow player, I can still see them. And that is really problematic, and that's going to cause problems. And I was like, how is that going to cause problems? You just pretend like you can't see them because you and your character are not the same. And they all insist, like, it was this really weird space where they wanted basically no distinction between your character and the player except for combat. It was very strange. And I just thought that was the oddest thing. And yeah, trying to follow the logic makes my head hurt. And I was thinking about this, right? And I know that there are a lot of people who like to role play and not what the fuck do you think role playing is? Says Millie. Absolutely, right? Do you not get that different character knowledge character knowledge and player knowledge is different? And I'll tell you what, if a person cannot make the distinction between their player and their character, I start getting nervous. And look, I do understand that one of the things about old school gaming is that very often that line between player knowledge and character knowledge is not seen in the same way, in the sense that in a lot of old school D&D dungeon crawls, the player is expected to bring their player skills as tacticians and moving their like you are expected to bring your your tactics to the table as a player, right? That is an expectation, and that you're to make good choices as a player. That some like, i.e., they don't really wanting they don't like. Do they spend their time in front of the TV and played? Hawkeye. I don't know what's up with them, right? Like there is a part of old school gaming wherein if you played a character with low wisdom and intelligence and you were in a dungeon and you made your PC make very low wisdom and intelligence choices that results in you not getting the loot and not killing the monsters, your fellow players are going to be very, very irritated with you because that is not what they want. But like this just took it to a whole other level that I was like, what is happening? Half says, I question the mental well-being of people who think method acting in THP is a good thing. Method acting is not a good thing at all. So, yes. Isaac, also, how does that LARP thing relate to the argument? Like, fine if in some game real life skills matter for the game, but this is not their game anyway. Absolutely. Absolutely. Millie said, in general, yes, very fair. Thank you. Thank you, Half Hours. Millie said, my favorite LARP moment, which would be a boffer moment, but this was early in the evolution of such things, was having a truth spell cast on me and answering 3 yes or no questions, then asking to explain my answers after and taking myself out of being, and talking myself out of being put to death. Oh, that's very cool. Method acting is also, we don't actually even understand people who talk, most of the people who are method actors, they think they're doing Stanislavski, but they're not. They actually are not. They're just, that is, they're not. Oh, hey, hack, I need a hack of 90. Y'all, I need a hack of 90. What is my hack at the moment? Because I want a hack of 90. Hold on. We're gonna see what we can do about this. I also need to eat food again, apparently. Okay, hold on. I have to reload. Okay, and then what is my hack? Anyway, look, I'm just telling you, as let's try acting as much as here. Method acting, oh, well, so there was a guy, his name was Stanislavski, and he was a Russian theater director and like theorist of theater. And he came up with some ways of trying to like sort of acting theory, how to act better. You should really keep notes about leveling up because you always say I need X. You're right. Well, I feel like, then you can I'll just ask you all to remind me. All right, what are my skills? What's going on here? My skills. Hack is a 76. 76? What? That is very far away from... Also, I feel like I need to sneak more. That is very far away from... That's very far away, by the way, from a 90, which means I really don't... Do I have anything that's like hacktastic? That's defense and lockpicking. Maybe I have like something that will give me 1,000 million hacking right now, because that would be really cool if I had something that would give me 1,000 million hacking. Bunch of persuades, sneaks. Oh, that seems fun. I feel like I don't. Wise by lying? Oh, this character's kind of a lying person, a little bit. Matching this is becoming the perform their part. Generally, the way American actors are taught to act. Yeah, and the thing is that that when Stanislavski was brought to the United States, they did not he had 2 different volumes. He had a volume that was about the internal and one was about the external, and we did not actually translate the external part. We only translated the internal part. And then Lee Strasberg actually taught it in a way that was not what was said. Do you know what I mean? Like there was so basically our understanding of Stanislavski's method is actually not what he wrote at all. And it's based on, like, at its base, the idea is that you want to actually feel the feelings, so that you are so is a more authentic experience than pretending, right? So one of the things that they tend to do when you're learning this way is you are taught to use what's called sense memory. Let me hit admin functions here. Let's unlock that. Unlocking. Oh, it was interrupted. Override the synthesis and... Oh, I just overrode stuff. Staff directory protocol activated. Please visit Transmission Tower Alpha for staff directory. Cool, cool, cool. Why is it? Because Stanislavski was Russian. He lived in Russia. He was a Russian fellow. I'm not an actress, so take this with a grain of salt. I seem to be able to become at will. Is my understanding of this equivalent to method? No. So method acting is one of the core techniques of method acting. Before you get look, there's the way method acting has become used, and some of the basic techniques. So I should probably contrast this with classical acting. I got trained in both. So classical acting is often about scene study, about like reading the text, analyzing the text, figuring out who your character is, learning who they are, figuring out how they would act, and figuring out, oh, okay, so this person is like this and like this. So probably when they are angry, it would look like this and this. I think that's who this character is. And so then let me go and then act that way, right? So this character is like this. Let me figure out who they are. Let me figure out how they would say things, work out who they are, and then let me go and do that. Method acting is then, and if you get really classical, they'd be like, okay, this is how people understand what being angry looks like. I'm going to do those things, right? So if being out of control in our society looks like doing this, this, and this, then when I act out of control, I will do this, this, and this, right? And then you do and then the audience is like, oh my gosh, you're out of control, right? Method acting, one of the first tools they teach you when you're sort of working through methods is what they call sense memory. So what you do is, if I'm going to play somebody, Carlos, I took an acting class and it was method. I was taught that I should be channeling moments in my life when I felt that way. I was supposed to do the scene so I could feel that. Yes, right. And that's sense memory. So like sense memory is, if you need to be sad on stage, what you need to do is not think about the character. That's sort of classical acting. You need to think about a moment in your life when you were sad. You need to go back to that moment in your life when you were sad, and then so that you can feel the sadness that you had, and so that then when you were on stage, you're feeling actual sadness, so that when you act and say the lines, it will be real. So like that's right. So you want to feel actual sadness, and you draw on your own feelings in order to portray sadness in a real way, they would say, in an authentic and a deep way. That so if you want to be a character who's angry, you need to go back into your life to a time when you were very angry, so that you can feel and channel the feelings of that anger you had, so that then you are angry on set. And what then people, and I will say that method has really gotten taken up by film actors especially, and I think part of that has to do with the challenge of film acting, because on stage you actually just play through the whole show beginning to end. In film, you're often not present. Film is a little bit different, so there's some sort of challenges in film acting that I think made method attractive. But I also think a lot of method actors are men, or people we think about, and a lot of those men feel like acting is effeminate and not masculine, and so method acting is a way to sort of become manly in certain ways. Millie says, when I say become at will, I mean I can manifest a different manifest a different feeling, not personality, but archetype. Yeah. But a true manifestation of the thing I want to portray and feel. Yeah. To be honest, it sounds like a bit bull. It isn't necessarily from my past, but I don't quite know where I draw from. Maybe Jung's archetypes, or maybe just like knowing people, perhaps. And so what ends up happening is that the way it manifests now, famously, is that these method actors are like, if I want to play this part, I must become the part, right? So if for example, I want to portray a character who is a heroin addict and I've never done heroin, I should probably do heroin so I can know what it feels like to do heroin. If I want to play a boxer, I should probably go and actually start boxing and get beat up in real life so I know what it feels like to be a boxer. If I'm playing a character who's stuck in the ice, I should probably just actually be stuck in the ice. If I'm playing a character who has not eaten in 4 days, I should probably also just not eat in 4 days. So it becomes about, for many of these method actors, doing the things their characters do so that rather than acting, they are being. Right? And so you'd get things like Jared Leto, when he was playing the Joker, sending used condoms to his coworkers in real life because he wanted to be the Joker, right? Or actors who would be like, I'm going to be in character, so never talk to me as if I'm not my character. Even when we break and we're not on set and we're not on stage and we're not acting, I'm going to stay in my character moment so that don't talk to me, don't use my real name. I'm going to just be the Joker the entire time. That kind of thing. I'm playing I'm playing a murder victim, so yeah, and Jared Actor is the very worst of the method style. Like, yeah, he's just the very, very worst. And there's a story that I have. It sounds deeply unhealthy. It is deeply unhealthy. Yes, Ice Bunny, what is your question? Give me your question. And it becomes very weirdly like pseudo-therapeutic, but not exactly. Like dig into your parental issues so you can play this character. But it becomes about like basically it's this weird thing of like the erasure of the line between character and actor, where the character has all of your feelings and then you have all of the character's feelings, right? That becomes this thing that happens. And it is deeply unhealthy, and a lot of method actors, someone give Jerry the role of murder victim, and a lot of method actors behave very poorly on set, and are very hard to work with, but it's all for the method. See, that seems to me more like them just not being good enough to turn it off and turn it on again. And, but also them, really, it sounds like they're not people who can act. Question, do you have to be a member of the Academy to win an Oscar? No. You do not, no, actually, and, no. Winning an Oscar is how you can get into the Academy, though. So very often, in order to win an Oscar, you must have, in order to be in the Academy, you have to have been nominated or have won I think you have to be nominated for an Oscar. There's certain things you have to do to become a voting member of the Academy. And it's actually winning an Oscar is one of the things you can do to become a voting member. I think there are a couple of other things that you can do. If you have to keep it on all the time, then you aren't a good actor. Yes, that's what I would say. You're not actually acting, right? If you cannot act like you're sad without being sad, then you're not acting. You have to be able to give a good performance, but that doesn't mean you're a good actor. Yes. You have to be a member of the Academy to vote for win the Oscar. Yes. Yes. No, I agree with you. I also think that if you cannot act like you're sad unless you're sad, then you're probably not acting at all, and you're not a good actor, right? You might be a good performer, but you're not a good actor. Yes. So yeah, one of the ways to become a member of the Academy is to win an Oscar, and only members of the Academy can vote. But you can win an Oscar and not be a member of the Academy. Although once you win the Oscar, you'll be inducted into the Academy. I think Meryl Streep would fuck this and quit method acting after Devil Wears Prada. Yeah. No. I'm still with you here, and I think also one of the things about method is there are a couple of things I think are some fundamental misunderstandings about method, and that is just because you feel something doesn't mean the audience will believe you. And that is a thing that I think is one of the big errors with method acting folks. Saying that the total are mental helpless for having to be cold and aloof all the time was just ridiculous. Yeah, right? Yes, absolutely. And when I say just because you feel a thing doesn't mean that people will believe it, what I mean by that is we as a society in a different time and place have a sense of what it looks like to be sad, or what it looks like to be angry, or what it looks like to feel sorry. And if you do not perform what that looks like, people will not believe you, even if you are sorry, right? Like this happens all the time when somebody like is like in court cases, right? When let's say there's a person who's been a victim of I don't know, something terrible happened, right? They were, let's say somebody committed an act of violence, but they did it because they were scared, frightened, and traumatized. If on in court they do not look like what we think scared, traumatized looks like, we will not believe that they're sorry. Some people don't cry when they're sad. Some people don't rage when they're angry. Some people just get very internal and they just sort of move inwards and they don't project outward. And that's what it looks like when they're sad. But then we won't believe them. Some people pretend they're sad and they're not sad, right? Like, are Russell Crowe and Anthony Hopkins method actors? I don't think Anthony Hopkins is, but I think Russell Crowe is. A lot of British actors are not method. They don't actually get that training. Some of them are. I do not think Anthony Hopkins is a method actor. Actually, I think he's a classical. Yeah, and actually, I think you're right about Crowe as well. A lot of British actors are just not method. They don't learn that technique. Also seems reductive towards emotional complexities and the importance of the larger context of, yes, absolutely. To me, Russell Crowe disappears into his roles, and Anthony Hopkins communicates more in his acting, particularly with his eyes, than any other actor I've ever seen. Some folks cry when they're angry, but then we went right. And the thing is, you can be a really good actor without actually feeling it. Do you know what I mean? Like you can. Most British actors, I mean, some of the newer ones, right, might have it, but a lot of British actors are just not method. They're just not taught that way. They're just taught to sell it, right? Method is mainly American. Non-American actors are pretty rare. Some of the younger British actors learn it, but most of the British training is not method. And while method is technically Russian, the way that we do method is not what the Russian guy wrote. It's mostly Lee Strasberg and the Actors Studio. During the and probably very Americanized, absolutely, and working in America, yes. During the Cannes Film Festival, Crowe was asked by a journalist if he ever utilized Konstantin Stanislavski's acting techniques. Crowe replied, "I use Russell Crowe method. I have never been a drama school man." And there are other methods besides the method that have been come up in the United States post. But yeah, he's here's the thing. Your real feelings may not carry as what may not be effective by what society imagines those feelings to look like. And so it doesn't matter if you feel it if nobody believes you, right? Would be the anti-method argument. And I think one of the other things that I would say, this is actually very interesting. It's a story, and it's about Veronica Mars, the TV show, and the lead is Kristen Bell, who is not a method actor, and like her main love interest after the second half of season, after the first half of season 1, Jason Dohring is a method actor, and they would talk about the showrunner would talk about what it was like on set having Kristen Bell, who's not a method actor, and Jason Dohring, who is a method actor. What would happen is Jason Dohring would have to do a really intense scene where he have to be his intense brooding character, and he'd be like, "Okay, I'm not ready to do the scene yet. You have to give me like a half hour before I'm ready." And so they would have to wait. They'd have to wait for like a half hour to an hour until he was ready to play the character before he could be in the moment, because he was method. And Kristen Bell was not method, and they're like, she'd be like laughing, joking, having a good time. Oh, and also he was also then like pretty broody and like miserable on set most of the time because he had to stay in character or whatever. And Kristen Bell would be like laughing and joking, and they'd be like, "Okay, Kristen Bell, you got the scene." She's like, "Okay, what do I have to do?" They're like, "You have to cry and be miserable." She's like, "Okay, cry." Boom. And she would just start bawling and be miserable in that moment. She would do the scene, and then once the take was over, she'd like pop right back out of it. And she didn't have to feel sad in order to make people think that she was sad, and she could do it immediately. Whereas Jason Dohring would need like an hour to be able to get ready to do the scene so he could feel really sad. And then he was moody and broody the entire day, right? And so like that's just like a difference between it's just a difference. And you know, that's all. Gervais says, I don't think accuracy or realism is as important as we tend to think. Like how we expect eating an apple to sound is not how it sounds in real life. This is true. And actually, very often things that are realistic, we don't believe. We don't we don't think it looks right. Do you know what I mean? Like oftentimes, many times you see something that doesn't have all of the sound correction, color correction. We don't think it's realistic when actually it is realistic, right? Millie says, one of my favorite movies is Remains of the Day. Oh yeah, specifically because of Anthony Hopkins' acting. He has one scene where nothing changed in his but his eyes. There was so much emotion. Oh yeah, Diana Rigg also. I love her. You can see her thinking in character, but she's a classically trained actor. It's acting, right? You know what I mean? Like she's like, and one of the things that's really interesting about a lot of the classically trained actors is that they are very. This is reductive. It's reductive, but people would say method is inside out and classical is outside in. So that classical actors are like, okay, for this character, how do I need to move my eyebrow or my eyes or my hands? How should I hold my body to portray this character? Okay, this character is repressed, so I think I won't move my body much, but this character has a very deep inner life, and I think the way that I'm going to be able to communicate a deep inner life to the audience is by, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a little tick. I'm going to do a thing with my mouth. Well, I'll do a facial tick. I'll do that every once in a while whenever my character is frustrated. This is film, which means they'll be able to pick up small details. I'm going to clench my jaw, and so they'll be able to see my muscle clenching whenever I want them to know this character is in this thing. And they will, like, a lot of classical acting is figuring out how to portray physically what it is you think the character would, how the character would behave and embody to sell it to the audience. But that is not at all about you feeling it. It's about you selling it, right? That's about you embodying this character in a way that will read to the audience. And so, for example, if you're on stage, you're going to have to make bigger motions and make bigger gestures than if you're on film. If you're on film, you're going to have to pull it back quite a lot in order to make it believable and read. So classical is all about basically selling the feeling and the character in a way that will read to the audience. You don't have to actually feel it. You just have to know what will sell. And method's about feeling it, and then if you feel it, the idea is that it'll be a more real experience, whatever that means. I can understand. Damn, I don't think I could ever do that. But like, it's just like, you know, classical's a lot of work, right? And classical actors will spend a lot of time thinking about how to walk in character, how to speak as that character, right? And it's like it's just like, and sometimes you get to the same place. The classical actor and the method actor might get to the same place in the end, but the way you get there is very different. Atomica! Yeah, the way you get there is very different. Synthesis and manufacturing center status. It's locked. Space Destroyers handguns. Body counts at a discount. I thought that I had overridden that. Had I not? Let's see. What do we have here? Let's look at our messages. I really want to hack that so bad. All right, incoming messages. So, how do we get to method acting? Oh, social skills. That's how we got there. Yeah, anyway, it just feels unfair to me to require that your player be good at social skills and detect lies and all of those things if they want to play a character who's good at that. In the same way, I think it's actually unfair to say, if you personally do not have years of military tactical experience, you can't play a character who does that. Like, just let them roll a tactics roll. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. Right? Gervais says, I wonder if Christian honesty values matter for this. Method seems much further away from lying. Actually, it's true, right? Because the idea is, if you're doing method, you're not lying. You're being honest and true, right? That is part of the idea that, like, you're not fake, right? That's a big thing. That if you're a method actor, you're not fake. You are real. You're not lying. You're actually feeling those feelings. You're actually having that experience. So you're not lying. You are being, and I don't know how much of it would be like Christian honesty values, but I think I would note that the method really becomes popular 50s onwards, right? As we get into this weird obsession with authenticity that the United States goes through post World War II, which you can see in like rock being valued more than pop. There's all sorts of weird authenticity things, and method is part of that, right, as well. Millie says, I can change myself from the inside out, but I don't know enough nor have control enough to know what to change and then change the details to achieve that effect. That sounds like true craft to me. You've really made me appreciate the craft of it so much more. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so basically, Hawkeye, yes, you're not really acting. That's the point. You're not really acting because there's an idea that acting is somehow not legitimate. And so right, that's it. Use Christian in a fairly vague sense that time. Yeah. And I think it's probably in there. And there's a way in which there's weird machismo, there's weird like honesty values, authenticity values that all get tied up into that. And I think that you can see this. And look, I think Roy Deschanel's a really good video on it. But method acting becomes a way in which, you know who's a big method actor? What's his face? Christian Bale. And he has had interviews where he talks about how acting is not manly. Because like acting's not manly, it's embarrassing to be an actor. You just sit around and you like wear makeup and like you don't do anything, not like a real man who's like a miner. Like he said those things. And it's very clear to me that the reason why he's a method actor is because he feels that being method makes him manly. Right? Like he doesn't just pretend to be like a lumberjack. He goes and he actually chops down the tree himself, and he can show you how like manly he is, and he loses all that weight and he gains that weight and he injures himself, and he gets like permanent like spinal injury because he's just so manly, right? There's a way in which it helps him like deal with his anxiety about acting. And I will note that actors who are not method, who are men, who are not British, sometimes have a harder time getting Oscars than American actors who are method. And if you are seen as particularly like Leo DiCaprio was not getting any Oscars. People were like, nah, like you're not macho enough in certain ways. And he was able to prove his macho-ness by going full method for The Revenant, where they're like, yeah, I mean, Leo DiCaprio's a vegan, but for the movie, he ate in real life bear liver, right? And he actually almost got frostbite and died, and he got hypothermia, and the director was really mean to him, and he was out there in the snow for real, and now we know he's very manly, and he gets an Oscar. Yeah, it's like there's a way in which method acting has become a tool of toxic masculinity. And then actors like Brad Pitt is not a method actor, and it was harder for him to get Oscar love, right? So like there are these ways in which, that it becomes like this space. I thought the word was for acting, not fake machismo. You'd think, right? You'd think, and yeah, and so I thought that was really sort of fascinating, right? I will say this one thing though, right? So I feel very uncomfortable, and I also will note that while there are some women who have been trained in the method, very few women are known as method actors. Meryl Streep was, but they don't. Faye Dunaway was as well. There are a couple of people. You're getting angry again. This has been a week of exposure to toxic masculinity. I know, right? It's like you're like, come on. But a lot of times women don't get respected for being method actors. And I saw a really interesting interview with a number of marginalized actors, so gender minorities, racial minorities, and they were asked like, oh, do you do method? And they were like, we can't get away with, we couldn't do that. I think it was like Regina King, a couple other people. They're like, yeah, we couldn't get away with, if we behaved on set, those guys do behave on set, we would be fired and we wouldn't be invited back. We can't just not come to set for 3 hours because we have to get into character. We can't just throw things on set and yell because we just won't get a second job, right? So there's also a certain kind of privilege that you get in, like, Marlon Brando just wouldn't know his lines. He just would not learn his lines, and he would just start saying random things sometimes, right? Especially at the end. And he could get away with it because he's Marlon Brando. Like, Marlon Brando could just get away with behaving in a way that, like, is not particularly very collegial because he's a method actor. But other people could not get away with that. People spoke very poorly of Faye Dunaway for her behavior on the set of Mommy Dearest. She was very method. She wanted to get into character. People were like, oh, you're just being difficult. So whether or not you're difficult or just a brilliant method actor kind of really depends on how much privilege you have. And that is, you know, a thing. Did she die? Who? Right? So, like, I will just note that there's not everybody can get away with behaving very badly on set, which is another sort of element of that to ponder. I'm going to read this. Subject, seize all recordings, high priority. From O. Ambrose to Gorgon managers, seize all recordings. Bring them to me immediately. And for fuck's sake, don't let the journalists off the fucking asteroid. Dr. Olivia Ambrose. Oh, that sounds bad. Production schedule. You think you can hide from me, you little twerp? I know a serum that will make you feel as if you lived 1,000 years in just 8 hours. How'd you have to spend the night in waste processing? Cheers, Ollie. Okay. She seems like maybe she's on Adrenatime. Toxic free rebranding. From Olivia Ambrose to L. Goodfellow. Change the fucking name, Lawrence. I don't care if the inbred simpletons at headquarters were just having a laugh. Customers don't know what it means. You may choose from the following list of acceptable alternatives. Absorbitol, Climatolax, Kelatamax, Binditron, Emedicine. Cheers, Ollie. Outgoing messages. To O. Ambrose, production schedule. If you're receiving this message, I'm currently unavailable. In my absence, I've instructed my secretary, Herbert Harrell, to reply to any incoming messages with this pre-approved response. Vicariously, Lawrence. To O. Ambrose, subject production schedule. Dr. Ambrose, great timing. I was just sending Herbie over to your department with a preliminary production schedule. As with so much of the work we do at the OCI, the design of a production schedule is more of an art than a science. The timetables and milestones are less contractual obligation and more aspirational cartography. Respectfully, Lawrence. We had one more. To Gorgon managers, subject radio documentary participation. All right. Mr. Lawrence Goodfellow. This is from C. Mostly. Many of you may be familiar with Odeon Pictures, Byzantium's premier purveyor of otherwave's drama and drama-adjacent entertainment. Several of my personal associates at Odeon Pictures have launched a satellite studio called Pictureless Pictures, which emphasizes radio programs and serials intended to excite the senses and palpitate the glands. I've received a request to approve a radio documentary program examining the lives and contributions of Spacer's Choice scientists operating on Gorgon. The name of this documentary is Moments with Genius. I do not approve of the superfluous exclamation point, but I approve of the general idea. Please inform the other managers. Lawfully, Mr. Clarence Mosley. From L. Goodfellow. Approved. Next time, allow me to make this kind of announcement myself, Mr. Mosley. Hierarchy exists for a reason. You know, archive message. About the radio? Oh, yes. Lawrence, who is this? This is Ollie. Lawrence, this is a waste of my time. The last thing my time needs is a fleet of gadflies descending on the labs asking stupid questions. We're months behind as it is. However, because Lucien demanded it, I will consider the program's request if the following conditions are met. Lucien guarantees me the right to review and approve the recordings. 2. The journalists are confined to Gorgon for the duration of the project. It could be years. Make sure they understand that. If they leak the details of our work to the press, I will put a hit out on them myself. I know people, Lawrence. 3. The journalists bunk in shipping and receiving. We can't have them fraternizing with the project staff outside of their scheduled interviews. These people are our enemies, not our friends. No one will be coming down with an acute sense of friendship on my watch. 4. My team will not be held responsible for the inevitable delays this tomfoolery will cause. The only individual who'll be working overtime on this is you. Understood? Cheers, Ollie. Hack. I just want to hack the things. Let's unlock the elevator. Sweet.
I knew I heard a
Wait.
little weasel sniffing about. You best go back the way you came. There's nothing for you here.
We have a mysterious figure who's threatening us. I think in a bowler hat, everybody. What? What is this? What is this? Oh, no. Meryl Streep's still alive. Yeah, that character just took some damn it all. Absolutely. So somebody's trying to threaten me. I'm going to say, who the hell are you? That's fun.
Call me the Ghost of Gorgon, or its warden. This place is a graveyard. All that was done here should be forgotten and left to rot.
Oh. Hey. Yeah, did you just lock me out of the SMC?
I did. And I am prepared to do worse if you ignore my warning. Gorgon is the birthplace of marauders. We created them here, in this very facility. They are our misbegotten children, born of hubris and vanity.
Marauders were created? Those bastards!
But marauders are just mindless lunatics, right? There can't be more to it than that.
Have you been paying attention?
They hold no fondness for trespassers. I've placed the facility under emergency lockdown to keep them safe. Let the marauders die in peace, or I will make certain that you die with them.
No, the Marauders are basically the result of, like, too much Adrena time, clearly. So I'm going to say, looks like there's more to this job than I thought.
Damn right. Someone set a plague on our colony.
Marauders have caused almost as much death and destruction as factory accidents.
Wow.
If whoever that was is right, this place is hiding something big.
I know what it is. Whatever secrets are buried here, we'll root them out. Absolutely. We're going to have to get better at hacking, everybody. I just want you to know it, because we're gonna need that. Yeah, Marauders are just Firefly Serenity Reavers. This is true. All right, we're gonna exit. So, back to the topic of social skills. There was something I was thinking about, and that is some players do not want to roll social roles. They don't want to do it, and my thought is this. I was thinking about this last night, in the Colossus, because there were like two moments when the RP could have been a social attack. A player, it's like at one point in time, Dot said something that felt kind of socially attacky to me. And I was like, is that a social attack? And Dot was like, no. I mean, I will if you want me to, but no. And I was like, okay. And so for me, these weapons spin up while aiming or firing. I should probably check out what that weapon is. And so for me, when there are games that have social attack rules, you don't have to roll them. I will not. I mean, sometimes I'll be like, what are you doing? But like, if you are doing what seems like a social attack, but you do not want it to be a social attack, then you don't have to roll. But that does mean that you will not get the benefit of a social attack, if that makes any sense, right? Like, so I will not, you can just RP it all out if you want to, but if you RP it out, but you don't make the social attack, then you don't get the benefit of the social attack. If you see what I'm saying. Speaking of which, I am going to... wait, there's something in there. Do you see that? It looks like there's a big robot. A robot in there. I'm going to, at this moment, I've got a bunch, like, I'm a little over encumbered because I got a lot of stuff going on. We're going to just have to deal with that for now. But it looks like we got a new weapon, and it might be super awesome. Or not. Let's see. Let's options. Name, value, weight, value to weight ratio, damage rating, melee ranged, name. Oh, well. Oh, you know what we could do? We could do, we'll just go by damage rating, maybe. See what's cool, what's good. What is this? This is a light machine gun Mark III. Ooh. Well, that looks kind of nice. Ooh. Robot man, robot man, robot man hates person man. It's true. Weird thing with that is that we often in TTRPGs describe what we do socially, but what we want to do in physical combat. Oh, yeah, Javai. And it might be better if we described what we want to do. You know, that could be perhaps better. This is, what is this? This is a heavy weapons. What is this? This is also heavy weapons. I actually don't think that I'm carrying any heavy weapons because I don't think I'm particularly good at that. However, you know what? Nyoka is quite good at heavy weapons, and we have some better heavy weapons, and I just feel like right now, at this moment, I'm going to find that heavy weapon and give it to her. Because what is she... Look, we're going to go 1013. Look, I clearly have not given my people better weapons recently, and we need to do that. Do you see what I'm saying? We're looking at, look, 1,000... Look at this. We'll give her this light machine gun Mark III. So she's got a way better weapon. Look, once I get out of this place, two-handed melee weapon. Once I get out of this place, we're going to go back to the ship so that I can, what's the word? So that I can equip everybody and then ditch all the low-level stuff. 540 two-handed is what we're looking at. Maybe I don't have anything better. 540 two-handed. Am I winning? I think I am. Like we say in RP what we say, then roll to see if it works. We don't say, at least not my groups. I say that we hit the enemy in the chest with a stab attack. Yes. No, I think that's actually a very good point and something to think about. I think that is something to think about, actually. Yeah, I think that is something to think about. Yes. You have... You've given me something to think about. And I am very... Why are some of these one-handed melee weapons way better? Maybe I just don't have any good two-handed melee weapons. I feel like that's probably the case. You have given me something... Yes. Oh, wait, Max, it's your birthday? Social scrolls feel like they remove something. Combat just creates a follow-up. Yeah. I'm older than I've ever been. So I feel like, Max, don't say you're so old, because then I'm getting close to being so old too. So one thing I want to say is that I tend to like, personally, if there are social roles, I tend to like to have them roll before we finish, right? Like if it seems like we're heading towards, like if it seems like you're about to go and intimidate someone, and that's what it looks like it's happening, and you start RPing the intimidation, and I see that that's where it's going, I'm probably going to ask you if you want to roll intimidation before you finish, so that we can see whether or not you were successful or not, so that you can then adjust your RP based on the roll itself, right? So if it starts like, hey, you, listen, I can make things difficult for you. Oh, I see, roll. And then if you fail, then you can finish that conversation and RP in a way that it'll make sense. But I try not to let you do the whole entire thing and then roll and be like, oh, didn't work. I like to try to have that roll somewhere in the middle once it becomes clear where we're going. Because people find it, there are people who do not find it satisfying to RP the most amazing thing ever and then roll and fail. One of the problems, however, is that sometimes those people who do that have characters who have no social skills. Zero, and maybe also they have antisocial skills. They have all these disadvantages that make nobody like them, right? Like they are a Nosferatu who's got the stink of the grave on them, and there's no way they should ever be successful in any of these social roles. But they RP their social roles very brilliantly, and then they get mad when they fail, because like, that's not fair, but I was so good. And I was like, yeah, but your character, nobody likes your character, right? So there's a way people want to sort of use their social skills to get around the fact that they've made characters that are very bad at social things. And so you have to like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And you're not older still. Well, I'll never be young again. We talked about support, and also I love good role players that just pay, and if it works, excitement. See, the problem, yeah, the problem, and this is what we were talking about, Max. The problem with just letting people who are really good at RPing just succeed without rolling is that then, like, take a game like GURPS, which is based on points, or a game like The Witcher, which is also based on points, any of those games. So I'm going to make a character, and I was like, okay, well, I have 100 points. I'm going to spend all of my 100 points on combat skills. And then I'm going to take 100 points of, I'm going to go and I'll spend all 100 points on combat skills. And I will, and actually, I'm going to take minus 100 points in social disadvantages, make me really bad at social things. So I have 200 points. So I'm going to have 200 points worth of combat skills. Now, we have another player who spends their 100 points, they take 100 points in anti-combat disadvantages and spend 200 points on social skills. So you have somebody who is minus 10 in social plus 20 in combat, somebody who is minus 10 in combat plus 20 in social. Now we get into a social scene. The character who's minus 10 in social RPs a brilliant speech to inspire everyone. And the GM's like, oh yeah, that was such a great speech. I'm not going to make you roll for it. You succeed in inspiring everyone. This person has minus 10 in social skills, plus 20 in combat. They would never be able to inspire anyone based on how they made their character, but they know they will never have to roll for it. They know they'll never have to roll because the GM will never make them roll because they're just such a good RPer. So they get into combat and they blow everyone away because they have spent all of their points and all of their extra points on combat. The person who spent all their points on social, they're about to make a speech, but the person who has no points in social made the speech for them, so there's no point in them doing anything. And then maybe sometimes they do make a speech and they succeed, they roll, they succeed because their social's amazing. They get into combat and guess what? They die because they spent all of their all of their points being good at social, so they have no points for physical. So they cannot do anything in physical combat. So once we get to physical combat, that person who spent all of their double points on physical things blows them out of the water, steals all the spotlight, takes all the time, and does all the things. The person with no physical skills is completely incapable of doing anything. And when we get into social things, that person who's actively bad at social things still takes the spotlight time because they can just role play it, right? And that becomes a moment where that's like a fundamental mechanical unfairness at that moment, right? Oh, thank you. Thank you for that 15 minutes heads up. Thank you. Oh, no. I've got way more than I can play till it's only 2. I've got a whole nother hour. Hour and 15. Yeah, I get that, and it goes for call. Yeah, any skill-based game, actually, yeah. I do, however, also see the reason you might want to reward good RP and character arguing and speaking rather than just rolling. Playing the game like that is akin to cheating, isn't it? Right? So that becomes like it feels very cheaty. Does it come down to the GM to make sure that those with low social should fail in that case then? Well, here's the thing. You can make them fail by just having them roll. That's it. if they are not good at that skill, you can have them roll for it. But the thing is, there are many people who are like, oh no, you don't need to roll. Just role play it. Just role play it. No. It is 2 p.m. where I'm at over here on the East Coast, so I'm good. I'm good. By the way, 776 is her pistol. Let's see if we have anything that's better than that. So I mean, that's the thing, that there's a bunch of people who, you know, they want to. Yes, and yeah. So I'm good. I've got another hour. We still got time. Whew. So there is a fundamental unfairness in allowing people who've not spent the resources on social things to be able to just be really good at social things, and who are actively bad at social things to just be good at social things because they RP'd it well. Like 634. There is that I think is actually quite unfair. I think that's a bit of a problem because it unfairly disadvantages people who actually have spent the points on social things. You know, I think it's kind of unfair. And a roll would allow the low skilled character to get lucky with a roll. Yep, just like a character with low combat can get a good roll. And if you have a situation where there are mechanics and you're applying them unevenly, you know, that's kind of not cool. Plus, also, you have a situation where, and I will say this also happens, and when it comes to RPing it, just RPing it. There are people who do not have good social skills in real life, and so they try to RP it, and the GM is like, "Oh yeah, but your RPing was bad, so I'm going to give you a penalty." But their character theoretically should be brilliant at that. So when you allow RP to do those things, what ends up happening is that players who are bad with social skills in real life all of a sudden get punished, even though their character is brilliant at it, because they themselves are not. So I'll give you an RP penalty because you are not RPing in a way that I find convincing, right? And then sometimes it becomes just like a guess what the GM wants to hear, right? Like there's just ways in which it can become not great, basically. I'm gonna get some salt tuna because I'm gonna go fight some people. Right? And so and it can be very ableist and gatekeepery. And that falls on the DM to keep the field even. Too bad all of them don't. Yeah. And here's the thing. What is the point of having dice and skills? The point of having dice and skills, right, is that it keeps things fair, right? That's part of the point of having a skill roll. Like, remember back in the day, they're like, when we were like way back in the day, old days, by the way, Max, I've got something for you. Also, there's a vending machine. Do you remember back in the day when people were trying to first be like, what's D&D? And you're like, D&D is just like this. I remember hearing this all the time. Do you remember when you play like cops and robbers with your friends and you'd say, bang, I shoot you. And your friend was like, no, you don't. See, D&D takes care of that because in D&D, there are dice to roll. So when you say, bang, I shoot you, you roll, and then you can find out if you do or not. So there's no more, never again will you have the bang, I shoot you, no, you don't. Right? And so that's, you know, that's what I think those rules are there for, so that you can be fair and even in that way. As my players to play their characters despite the stimuli that has gotten, play them as you think they should act. Just like a low-intelligence person playing a high-intelligence character, you have to let the character solve puzzles the player can't. Absolutely. If the player cannot solve the puzzle, but their character is puzzle-solving McGee, have them roll their puzzle-solving skill and then let them solve the puzzle. Do you know what I mean? Like, that seems only fair. I noticed how you thought of me when you said, oh, no, you said it. Shivai says, I would also argue that a brilliant speech by a low social skill character is far from good RP. Ooh, pretty awful RPing in the end as you don't play the role at all. Ooh, Javai! Boom. Please note, Javai just dropped the mic. Javai just dropped the mic. Scabby Neck says D&D just moves the argument with those kids to that's not what the rules say. Scabby Neck, that is so true. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that is true. By the way, we are going to sell all of we're going to sell stuff now. Just we're going to sell all of this. And then we're gonna sell some stuff right now because we've got a lot of things and we need to get some of this stuff off of our yeah, we're gonna sell some stuff is what we're gonna do because we're a little bit over encumbered and I think mostly it is armor. Oh, I should actually check my armor first. Sorry. Because again, I nice. Okay. Armor. Yeah, that Javai, that's so good. Javai, these are the things that I love to hear. Let me just see what I'm wearing for armor and if I have any I can get anything better. I've got a 62 medium. We're looking for something better than a 62. Oh wait, 62. Oh, 62, 62. So we're looking for things that are better than 62. That's our note. If we have it, we'll swap out right now while we're chatting. Oh, Max Ryder. I have to. Oh, hey, that's heavy. Ooh, it increases my stealth skills. Let's do it. Yes. And this is an 84. So we're looking at, I wonder what we can do for sorting. Value to weight ratio, armor rating. Ah, okay. This is a 77. Cool, don't need it. We need we have a 62? 62. What do we have that is better? We have a lot of helmets we are probably going to just get rid of. We have a lot of helmets. This is a 103, but it's heavy, and I don't use heavy weapons. Or heavy weapons, or heavy dodge. I never dodge. This is really bad of me, but I just don't. So we're gonna not use that. And it doesn't help our stealth skills, and this is what we're wearing, so great. Let's try to equip our friends. Millie says, that was always a problem I was in early scenario books. They did not provide ways for people playing characters with mental capabilities beyond their own to solve the scenario. Yeah. Well, the old school gaming wasn't even about that though, right? The players always had to figure it out. Yep. And conversely, they made it very difficult to not solve the problems that your character wouldn't be able to figure out. Yeah. It took really bloody good role players to play the inability to solve the problem and really honest people. But of course, your fellow players would probably get irritated with you if you did that because they're like, that's not, stop that. You know what I mean? Lack of sleep has really started to impact my grammar. No, it's fair. I got it. So, by the way, 22 light armor is what we're looking for. Although, oops, that's not what I want. 22 light armor. Because I feel like we probably have better armor for these folks, is my suspicion. See, like that. Look at that. That's like a 31. I'm so under, like these people, I'm doing such a bad job with them. What is this, like a 41? I feel like I am so inappropriately underpowering my people in certain ways. So she's at a, what, 41 right now? By the way, I'm glad that we're doing this because I feel badly about the fact that I have not been leveling them up enough. So, and this is a 42. What is this? Status effect, duration, movement speed, melee weapon speed, attack speed. Oh, that's all attributes -1. Do our friends even have attributes? Nah. I read what was written as no, it's fine. Wait, I didn't even see the auto mod. I didn't even see it. I used. If I use without, oh yeah. I know. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yes. So yes. No, my bot didn't say anything actually. Like, that's why I was surprised, because the bot normally says it, but the bot did not come up with anything. And I was like, oh, surprising. Interesting. So I do think sometimes about, by the way, medical, right? She's our medic. So 33 helmet. 33 helmet. We're looking for medical, perhaps. And probably light. Oh, I don't think our helmets really care about that, do they? We're looking for like a 30. Ooh, this is a 56. I have not leveled up my people, and I feel really bad about it. I feel like I have let them down, that I have caused them to probably be murdered a lot. And, you know, I feel bad about it. But we're correcting this problem now. Yes. Well, my alerts were going off because we had alerts go earlier. That's the thing. We did have alerts go off earlier. So that's weird. Let me see. Give me a second. Let's go and check. You know what I need to do? I need to check. Boop, 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 boop. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, you know what? You're right. No. Stream labels was down, but stream labels doesn't give me my bots though. So that wouldn't have done it. Stream labels was down, but I've just brought that back up again. So stream labels is back up, but the auto mod doesn't do the bot. So I feel like that should have been something else. Anyway, stream labels is back up. So they're back. Back. Also, hey Prax, how are you? Prax, remind me to chat with you after I get a bunch of stuff done. Remind me to do that. Also, 63. 63. And I think we just kind of want some higher level skills. Okay. Yes, I've got like, it'll probably be tomorrow. It'll probably be the Witcher day that I have to chat with you, but it'll probably be the Witcher day when I can do it. Witcher day. Hey, Artie Snack, how are you? How are you doing? By the way, I'm trying to be responsible. Like, look at this. I'm going to just note that she's currently wearing 36 armor that has a 36 on it and a 35. And these are super low. Like, why am I so bad? Why am I so bad? Why am I not? This is why I don't want to get rid of all the stuff that I got, because I clearly am not taking care of my characters right now. Is all I'm going to say about that. I saw the last game of Haunted West went up on Darker Studios. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I need to put it on I need to attach it to my YouTube. So we should probably give her some kind of heavy armor. The heaviest we can get that gives her bonuses to heavy weapons is what I'm thinking. And I really do not understand what I was thinking. Honestly, I do not understand what I was thinking. I don't know why what is wrong with me? Yeah, I feel very sad about that. As companion don't need equipment. Yeah, but here's the thing, I'm totally going to use them at some point in time, probably. Theoretically, it could happen that I might. It's like sometimes I use them. Often? No, not often. It's true. But I do sometimes use them. And look, I just feel like I was very responsible right there. And I'm going to sell some things because I should. I'm just going to. Yes. Wrong button again. This one. Yeah, I'm just gonna you know what? I'm gonna sort this by armor rating, and then we can just start ditching low-level armor things, right? That we have multiple things of, like this. But carrying all the stuff, oh, yeah, but the things, I just have to get back to my ship. If I can get back to my ship, then I can, basically, if I can get back to my ship, I can swap out all the stuff. I can basically make sure everybody's got the best armor possible. And then once I do that, I can just then ditch everything else. And I am totally going to do that. I just have to get through this building. And once I get through this building, we are going to be fine. I'm also just selling things that I've got multiple copies of. Although, yes, no, I'm going to, yes, I'm selling this. Although this is very high, ooh. No, we're doing it. We're going to just sell when we have multiple copies of some of these things. We'll keep, yes, that's, we did it. Yes, I know. But I just sold a bunch of stuff. I'm feeling pretty proud of myself there. Hey, Max Ryder, I have to tell you something. It's important. This physical pain you go through to try to get rid of something is very precious. I'm gonna get rid of it, you know, here. I am 100 units over, but I'm selling some of the things right now, you know. Like, look at all the things that I'm currently selling in the selling of the things sort of way. And ta-da, selling the things. I'm worried that I'm going to sell too many things. But I'm going to, like, just, and sold the things. Okay, boom, sold some stuff. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna save. That's not how you save. I'm gonna save. Just gonna save. And then Max, I have to tell you something that's really important. It's a thing. I got my own screen. Okay, yes. Okay, so here's the thing that I'm gonna tell you. Max, it's really important. Here's it is. Here you go. Max. Trooper would never play Fallout 4, he would never get anywhere as that is the worst game for hoarding. Max? Happy birthday to you. Hey, happy birthday to you. Yeah. Happy birthday, dear Max Ryder. You're beautiful, babe. Don't go changing. All right. Happy birthday to you and many more. Happy birthday, Max. Thank you for posting your cool gaming stuff and hanging out here. Thank you for being part of the community. And that's what I wanted to tell you. Happy birthday. Yay! Oh, great. That's an elevator. We're not going to go through that elevator yet. Side note, you know, there are a lot of parts of this building we haven't been to. And I worry about that systematically because I just want to get to all the places. I don't want to miss any parts of the building. You know what I mean? Like, I really want to, I don't want to miss anything. Because I miss you, babe. And I don't want to miss a thing. Oh, it's our secretary. Memo. Herbie, take a memo. Actually, hang on. Let me write a cigarette. All right, take a memo. I want to personally walk down to HIA and wrap my hands around the necks of every single law-forsaken excuse for a researcher whose indenturement contracts we were stupid enough to sign. Who signed those anyway? Were they drunk at the time? Why are we hiring research who can't deliver the test results we want? Am I crazy? Is this an unreasonable expectation? Is supply and demand a foreign concept to these people? When I request a 0G brew, I expect a moderately cold glass of something reasonably alcoholic in my hand, slapped with a Spacer's Choice brand. When I request test results, I expect to see scientifically proven, medically verified evidence that adrenatime is a miracle drug. I didn't ask for a long list of dangerous side effects. I asked for adjectives. I can't turn high rate of violent confusion into marketing copy, Herbie. What in law's name am I supposed to do with side effects include paranoia and suicide? HIA just screwed us with our pants on. The Cerebral Committee is losing their collective mind. Now I need to go pat them all on the shoulder and wipe away their sad little tears and tell them everything's going to be all right. Why are you still typing? Don't put that down. I was just rambling. Really? Oh my fucking god. Research do not deliver the results you want. They deliver the results that come from the research. But I feel like if that happens, you might get fired. Herbie, take a memo. I'm getting real sick of Clarence Mostly. Remind me again why we brought him on this project. He's not part of the Spacer's Choice family. He's never been a part of the Spacer's Choice family. The Mostleys, what do they do again? Oh yeah, they peddle furniture. I'm a manager at Halcyon's most recognizable brand name in affordable goods and services. I don't need management advice from some guy whose family designed my footstools. Actuaries should stick to actuarial work. Don't go advising me to turn the screw on Jasper Lowe and those lab coats at Chem. I know what I'm doing. Hang on, I need a cigarette. All right, where was I? Oh yeah, take a memo. We need to turn the screw on Jasper Lowe and those lab coats at Chem. I want you to draft up an official order. Tell Chem, hang on, let me think. Yeah, tell Chem they need to fire 1 in 10 researchers, and that we're slashing their deadlines in half. It's a Roman solution. We could learn a lot from them. The Romans, they pretty much invented discipline. Not good. Not at Spacer's Choice. Sounds like some nerd needs some Ned's reps I've dealt with in the past. Oof. Sometimes I want to hit marketing in the head with bats. Yeah. Praxis. Millie, you would think so, but that's not always true. Stares in document discovery actions. So bad. Millie, yeah, all the corporations in the world are going to drive you nuts. Researchers who provide intended research are not doing research. They just want the results they want. If people become like Reavers, it happens. Time of gifts. I didn't get where I am today with paranoia and suicide, allegedly. The fall and rise of Reginald Perrin. Time of gifts. It's so good to see you. You're awesome, by the way. I'm going to hack this memo. For sake. All of our quarterly reports, all of them, gone. Hard copies, terminal data, it's all gone. What kind of sick, degenerate mind destroys quarterly reports? Well, we've got a surprise audit scheduled. When am I supposed to show the auditors? I need to send a message down to the receptionist. No auditors allowed. I need to talk to the committee immediately. Why are you typing, Herbie? I didn't ask you to take a fucking memo. Delete this. Hey, are you listening? Well, that seems ominous. What do you think happened to Herbie? We can't lose the quarterly reports. They're really important because they're quarterly and they're reports. Yes, so all I will say to finish up is if you want to RP things and you don't want to roll for it, absolutely RP it and don't roll for it. But you will not get mechanical benefits if you don't roll for it. That's all. That's my solution to that. Like if you just want to like RP away and oh, this looks bad. Looks bad. Also, I feel like I've been here before. I feel like I've been through this part of the room, so we can go back. Yeah. Yes, right? Yes, we've been through this, because everybody's... Look, the reason why I think we've been here before is because nobody's got anything on them, and I feel like if we hadn't been here, I would have, yes, we've been here. Okay, we've been here. This is a loop. This is good, because I like to be very, what's the word? Methodical in my movements. So we've been down here. We haven't been over here. We have not been over here, which is terrible. We should be all the places. Yes. Prax, I cannot talk to you until after I send an email to someone else. And once I send the email to someone else, no, this is the computer we couldn't fully hack. Oh, I hate that. Once I send the email to someone else, then I can talk to you about a thing. I have to talk to you about a thing, but I need to send an email first. You know what I'm talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about, but you can guess. That's all. Surprise audit scheduled. Surprise audit schedule is also great. Yes. Not the quarterly. Oh, Max, you just made me think of a quote from a movie. But I'm going to read the rest of chat first. No auditors allowed. Better leave. So, there was time of gifts. Millie says, I believe a lot of the current illness of the world is based on the fact that we have non-people driving how people set the priorities. Corporations, algorithms. Yes. So we've done all that. Right? Yes, we've done all of that. We're just going to, by the way, sell our junk. Great. So there was an elevator. This is the elevator. We're going to go. I feel a little weird about going down the elevator, folks, and I'll tell you why. I feel a little weird about it because I feel like there are parts of this floor we haven't been to, and I worry that I will miss them. So here we are. Active quest. See, I think we have to go down this way. You know what I mean? And I feel like I don't know if well, you know what though? Here's what's what. We're gonna explore. We're gonna just go down the elevator. We're gonna see what happens. That's it. We're just gonna see what happens. We might have to go back up. Is this our world? It is our world, but a different planet. In a different planet. This is like our world, but people have colonized other spaces. And yes. All right, but Prax can make an educated supposition. So we definitely have been here before. We definitely have been here before. Absolutely. So, we need to, but we have not been through the entire place. So I want to go back up the elevator and go down that stairwell we hadn't gone yet, because I just feel like we have to be methodical about it. Okay. Pratt can make an educated supposition. This is true. Will you remember the quote by the time? Yes, I will remember the quote. I had forgotten it, Artie, but then you just reminded me. So here's the quote. The quote is, you said, not the quarterly reports, and here's the quote. That reminded me of the quote from Flash Gordon when Clytus captures Aurora, and she's being terrible, and she's like, ha! You know, once my father finds out that you've got me, you're going to be in big trouble. And he's like, your dad's right over there. And she's like, what? And Clytus is like, bring out the ball worms. And then she's like, not the ball worms. And I always remember, not the boar worms. That is a quote that I do not forget. And anytime, and you just reminded me of not the boar worms. And I hope that this quote from Flash Gordon was brought to you by boar worms. And this, I believe, is the way. Oh, did we? I don't think we've been all the way up here.
Now that someone's telling us not to go digging, I kind of want to go digging.
Fair.
I've got a bad feeling about this, Cap.
Me too. Awesome. Not Flash. Savior of the universe. See, do you see how if we left, we wouldn't have gone up here? We haven't been up here. Methodical. Not the. Oh, also Aurora, who plays who's Ming's daughter, has some of the best lines, or at least Cornella Muti, I think her name was. Or at least she said them. Like, I loved her when she was like, when they see, like, when Dale Arden thinks that Flash is dead and she's crying, and Aurora's like, water is leaking out of her eyes. And I always, that's another line that I remember a lot. Water is leaking out of her eyes. That one makes me happy. That's another happy making quote.
An old comms tower, huh? It's like I'm back at Hiram's place, running errands.
Huh.
Birthplace of Marauders. We ought to have left well enough alone. Now we're in it. Come hell or high water, we've got to see this through.
That's true.
Hoping this leads us to someone we can talk with face to face. Or punch, if it comes to that.
So I'm a little concerned that we haven't gone through the entire building. I just want to go back in and go all the way down the stairwell, and then I feel good, because I feel like then we've cleared the whole space. Not the mind probe, the castle, and the 5 doctors. Ooh, yes. Oh, gosh. The 5 oh, time of gifts. The 5 doctors. Oh, my gosh. Hey, do you remember, what was it? Which one was it? With this, was it the 2 doctors? Which one was it? The one with, do you remember Jacqueline Pierce, who played Servalon in Blake 7? I had such a crush on her. She was in, was it the 2 doctors or was it the 5 doctors? The 2 doctors. About the Sorgamum? Those aliens that just like ate, who were gluttonous, the gluttonous aliens. Do you remember them? It was thank you, it was the 2 doctors. Yes, thank you. I was pretty certain it was the 2 doctors. I was pleased that I had not lost my mind. So, yes. You know, I think I feel like perhaps we have, no, we have not. See, look at that. I was right. We did not actually do everything. So, I would like to point out that I was correct in, how do you think we, I don't know how we get over here. Well, can I jump? Well, I can jump, but, nope. Okay, fine. But now I need to know how to find that place. The only thing I remember from Master and Commander is a lesser of 2 Weevils. So, look, here's a quick thing. We are here. I want to get... Maybe we can't. Look, there's something on this lower level. This level 3, right? There's something on level 2 that I want. Yes, level 2. Yes, yes. Level 2. Right? Yes, level 2. We need to get to level 2, and we need to find out what things we need to get and hoard. I don't really mean hoard. I mean, actually, I do mean hoard. This is actually completely what I mean. So, Androgum. Androgum. Thank you. It was Androgum, and it was an anagram of gourmand, dreamed up by the great Robert Holmes, who I believe was a vegetarian. Oh. Well, that's cool. Okay, so I'm going to have to ask some personal questions of everybody here in chat because it is now started. It is now on, as it were. Who are your favorite doctors? Or favorite doctor, old school, new school, and favorite companion, old school, new school? Those are the questions I would like to ask everyone in this place because I now want to know. Because I am now invested in finding out this information. Because we've got some Whovians here. I need to know. Yeah, I definitely mean Horde. I think I really like the first new Doctor. Oh, Eccleston, number 9. But I'm not super. Never saw the older stuff. Oh yeah, I was a big Whovian of the old school as well. I have to say. So you know, it really feels to me like maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. Classic Who, John Pertwee, modern Capaldi. Oh, that's interesting. The only who opinion I really have is I hate Rose. The Doctor is not Doctor. Yes, the Doctor. I liked Rose in the first season, and then I really stopped liking Rose. Is what happened to me. I thought she was fine in the first. Look, there are beings over here. There are. Okay. All right. Look. There is somebody. Oh. Okay. All right. There are things, people to visit and have a chat with in here somewhere. But the question is, where? They're on this floor. Or maybe I'm just making things up. Maybe they aren't here because they look like, you know what? Maybe they're just not here and I am just imagining things. And there are no things for us to visit. Maybe that's the case. That's weird. Well, I think I just made it up and they're not here. So, there. David Tennant is hey, a vintage mess is the only Doctor. Who even makes you think of the Grinch. Tennant Capaldi and McCoy. Fave companions, Jack Harkness. Oh, Sarah Jane. Prax! I love Sarah Jane Smith. The original Romana and Clara. Ooh, nice. Favorite companion was Amy. Amy was also very good. Y'all are making me very, very happy. So first off, old Who, Sarah Jane Smith is my favorite companion. And do I love the rest of them? Yes, so many of them I love. These are all true statements. I love many of our companions. But, like, Sarah Jane Smith. And I also watched her TV show, the Sarah Jane Smith show. Like, she had a show, was her and K9. The Sarah Jane Adventures? Was that what it was called? I watched that because Sarah Jane's awesome. Speaking of, we're going to have to find our way out. Let me go to the region, actually. So we are, where are we? We are here. And I think we can probably make our way out look, y'all, we're fine. We just have to get out of this building. Hello, Sarf1. I have such a weakness for 9, Rose, and Jack Narcissus trio. Actually, I did like that trio quite a lot. I like that trio quite a lot. Favorite Doctor is John Pertwee. Favorite companions, other than the obvious one. Romana the second. Yeah, Lala Ward and Liz Shaw. Yeah. I did like, I had a soft spot for Adric, because Adric died. And that, Adric's death as a young person did impact me, I will say. That was a very moving moment. So for my favorite Doctor, I mean, I do really love the fourth Doctor, Tom Baker. I do have a soft spot for Tom Baker, although I will say, I do. I really like Tom Baker. But I liked the vulnerability of Peter Davison. I like the cantankerousness of Colin Baker. Yeah, it's hard to say because I do. And I suppose Tom Baker's my old school Doctor Who, I think. But that makes sense based on my age. Favorite old school companion is going to have to be... Are we going this way? Is going to have to be Sarah Jane Smith. New school... I don't know who my favorite new school Doctor is. Is that bad? I don't know who my favorite new school Doctor is. But but my number one is the War Doctor, then Capaldi. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. The War Doctor, yeah. Tom Baker had my first and best Doctor, and damn, I still have a raging crush on Leela. But as a companion, she is tied with K9. Oh, I love K9. New, I absolutely loved Eccleston for doing justice to an angry doctor. Yeah, yeah. And Amy Pond and Claire is also from. Okay, I will tell you my favorite companion though. My favorite companion is, without a doubt, hands down, Donna. Donna is my favorite companion of the new Who. Uh, yeah, yeah, Donna. I gotta say Donna. This is active, right? Yeah, this is active. So, right. Okay. So here's the thing. Our quest is in here somewhere. So I cannot leave here until I find out where our quest is. So I think we have to go back up the elevator, maybe? We're gonna... All right. Local. Up. 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 Here. We need to go up here. All right, and I am currently... Where am I? I am here. So we need to go up. Oh no, there's an elevator. I'll take the elevator. We're gonna just take the elevator and hopefully that'll get us where we need to go. For the record, we're taking the elevator because we need to travel to our right and then to our left. Yeah, okay. I feel like we currently have it. Here we go. We're good. Wait. Just pick up that saber while we're here. Yeah, I really love Donna. Hey, Dennis, how are you? Yeah, Donna, John Hurt. Oh, John Hurt's a great actor. John Hurt's a great actor. Yeah, really, who's your least favorite companion? They just saw me in too many ways. Oh. I love the way that Donna changed. Like, she started off being really annoying, but then she grew to, like, in this amazing way. Claire just hit my sapiosexual weak spot dead on the nose. She could knock me over with a feather from... That's fair. That's fair. Doctor was never a thing in either Germany or Denmark. Oh, interesting. I can't say I know enough to even hang in this conversation. I enjoy the show when I have access to it, but I'm not as well versed. However, I'm curious what everyone's favorite rejected boyfriend who had to be given up. Oh, that's interesting. Not in Sweden? Oh, interesting. I have to say, I wanted to say that this is interesting about rejected boyfriend because old Who didn't really have rejected boyfriends, right? Like, that wasn't really a thing in old Who, which I think is interesting. And I'm going to just ponder that for a moment. Yeah. Yeah. Y'all? No, you had you had your own stuff, right? You had like a Raumschiff Orion, was that the one? The German one, the German 60s one, yes. I love where Rose boyfriend ended up. Oh yeah,
Name
yeah.
game.
Ooh, people. The name game. Come on, everybody. I say now, let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B on F, more an M will appear. And then I say Bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fan, or info. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a Phi, and a Mo. Then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. But if the first two letters are ever the same, I drop them both and say the name. Like Bob, Bob dropped the B's bow, or Fred, Fred dropped the F's for red. Oh, Mary, Mary dropped the M's mo airy. That's the only rule that is contrary. Be right, be right, be right, bo e right, banana, fana, fo fee right, fee fi, mo me right. Be right. The name game. Be right. Thank you for that resub. I dropped my phone. That is lovely. Oh, 30 minutes. Thank you. But I'll tell you what. This is what I'm gonna do as like a thing. I am going to right now order some food, and I figure by the time I get off the stream, it will show back, it will be here. And then I will, that'll be like I will have a hard out because I won't be able to stay longer because I'm going to have, food. And that's what, okay, hold on. Give me a second. I just want to get this. I'm gonna get a burger because that'll be fine. And then for my drink I'll go with Dr. Pepper because right? Of course I will. Okay. And go and order and order. I think I'm gonna make chili tonight, maybe. Okay. Whoa, my onions went bad, so I don't have onions. Terrible. Let's see. We also had Olsen Band in the 70s. I think they're called the Johnsons Band in the Sweden. Oh, yeah. And the old two companions were always primed to just walk out of their old lives. They never seemed to leave anything behind. Yeah, yeah. I liked Torchwood. I liked the Sarah Jane Chronicles, Sarah Jane Adventures, The Adventures of Sarah Jane, The Adventures of Sarah Jane. I'm confusing The Adventures of Sarah Jane with the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which I also liked, but they were very different. Old Who was a boyfriend appearing and the female companion leaving. Oh, yeah, yeah. Susan, Vicky, Joan, Grant, Leela. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Torchwood, Children of Earth. So good. That was... Children of Earth is like really one of my favorite Who things. Who related things. I loved... That was so good. I did not see the Torchwood season that was set in the United States. I'm a bad person, I suppose, but I didn't see it.
This comms tower is going to lead us to someone with answers or more
Okay.
warnings and riddles.
Mom decided we were having homemade pizza for dinner tonight. Oh, Sarah Jane Adventures. Thank you. It was Sarah Jane Adventures and the Sarah Connor Chronicles. So we're up here. We've got, like a half hour. And the question is, where am I headed? This is the, that's the electric filing. This is also the electric filing. Strange. Maybe we have to go over there and come back. Right? That could be it. But here's the thing. We are going to go to our ship. Is what we're going to do because it's close to this other thing. And we're going to just fast travel to our ship so that we can, while we're chatting, we can just go through the inventory and like the armor and arms for all of our companions, get everybody all in the best stuff. We're gonna do a little bit of inventory stuff and Jack. I like Jack. I wish I could be more like Jack. Jack was pretty awesome. Every Scandinavian country had their own actors, but the stories are the same. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, you can never get into Doctor Who. Your wife is cringing like God. Oh, my mom was not the best cook. She could do a couple things pretty well. My dad was a better cook. I suppose I just don't have my dad could make some Italian food though, I'll tell you what. AKA she bought all the pertinent ingredients for her homemade pizza and informed me that she thought it sounded good, so I get to make food. Oh. Doctor Who was on PBS after my bedtime. Oh, so this is actually interesting, right? Because we're gonna save. Doctor Who was I watched it on PBS, but I also watched Blake 7. What else? Wait. This is how we do it. This is how we do it all. I believe I have got the best weapons for me. So, and I think I have the best weapons and armor for me that I can have. I believe that is the case. So, I am going to right now, and I believe we did Ellie already. We got her the best stuff that she could get. Felix. Hey, Felix, what do you do? You, do... Oh, you have a level up. Oh. I haven't leveled up some of my people. All right. Well, I have been a little bit irresponsible, but we'll take care of it. Let's see. Stand your ground. Duration side effects inflicted by companions. What is this? Negative faction damage.
Somebody's watching me.
I always feel that somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Ba-da-ba-ba, Viper XSRT. Welcome in, and thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. That is so kind of you. Welcome in. What we have here? We have Millie says, I met Colin Baker. He drew a cat on my shirt while I was wearing it. The actress for Leela actually popped out of her dress at the convention I was at, but I didn't see it. I was still too young to appreciate it. Now I feel guilty that I wish I had seen it. I appreciate that. B. Wright says, after the specials this year, RTD returns, and I hope he can work that magic for a second time. I'll miss Jodie Whittaker. I think she's an excellent actor, but I'm crossing everything that Russell T can do at the end. This is an interesting thought, right? Because I think that Russell T Davies was better than what's his face. You know, what's his face. This was the same convention that you learned to fear mob mentality. Ooh, mob mentality is scary. You know, what's his face? Moffat. That's what I was thinking of. Moffat. Thank you. Though a lot of the awesome shows on PBS were after my bedtime. Oh, I was blessed in that my mom and grandparents allowed me to stay up in time to watch things that they deemed educational. Nice. Masterpiece in theater shows. Stephen Moffat. Yeah, that's the one. I sat in the kitchen and watched the Shogun show and 80s. I remember the Shogun. Yeah. Moffat is a good writer, a bad showrunner. Yeah. You know, it's funny because I loved coupling that Moffat did. Moffat did coupling, and I thought that was great. I thought it was clever. I thought it was funny. I loved some of the visual jokes. Some of the visual jokes were hilarious. There was just like some really cool direction that I really, really liked. Like there was just like a lot that I thought was really good about coupling, but he wasn't as good he wasn't as good in Doctor Who. And that was, yeah. That's all. That's what I'm going to say. Because he needs someone to rein him in like George Lucas. Yeah. Great at showy one-offs, not so good at long-term plots. Also good, yes. My mom was, so Dennis says, my mom was the cook of the house and she went to some work conference thing. My dad brought the ingredients of pumpkin pie and told me to make it. So whenever my mom was gone, I would cook for like 3 people, not including me. That was a real trial by fire. But I bet you're a better cook, right? Prax says, see, I like Jodie Whittaker as an actor, but I have serious continuity problems with the writing and the way they didn't address any of the issues that would have having a female doctor would bring. Oh, interesting. I haven't watched those seasons, so I can't say, I don't know. I think when he gets too successful, if there can be such a thing, Stephen Moffat can get too clever and self-referential. Sherlock was a little like that too. I love both programs, but knowledge they were. Oh, interesting. See, it's what's so. Question. Let's go. Let's give him more armor. We're gonna give him more armor. We'll accept that. And skill-wise, he is... Oh, interesting. Okay. Um, you give me. You've got persuade, sneak, and lockpick. Okay. You are persuade, sneak, and lockpick, which means let's see if we can get you uh, some better persuade, sneak, and lockpick weapons. I keep pressing the wrong button there. Value, weight, value to weight, name. Yeah, we're not going to get goodness there. So him, sneak and lockpick, we're looking at, we're in the 20s. This is really bad, everybody. Just sneak and lockpick. So this is like a, 26 and 30 is what we're looking at. 26 and 30. Uh, with sneak, lockpick, and that other thing he does. Persuade. Persuade, sneak, and lockpick is what we're going for in armor. We're looking at 26 and 30, and I feel like some of the heavy stuff is not going to be particularly useful for us, so we're going to note it. Yes. I agreed. I feel like there's shows that seem simple, but the more you think about it, the more intricate they become, the more human the characters appear, the deeper both plot and characterization actually are. And there are shows that seem intellectually deep at first sight, and the more closely you analyze, the more you realize it mainly smoke and mirrors. And I feel like Moffat has almost mastered that last category. Stephen Moffat needs someone to tell him, no, this is not a good idea. Also, it's weird because I appreciated... I appreciated his the way he wrote the characters, including the women in coupling, but I didn't think he did so great with women in Doctor Who, which, you know, he's lockpicking, right? Persuade, lockpick, stealth, right? Okay. Persuade, lockpick, stealth. We want some high numbers. Lockpick max. What does this mean? Maybe he's maxed out on his lockpick. Maybe that's what it means. Heavy, medium, lockpick +5. Oh, no, hold on. Wait a minute. This is... Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I feel like we need to go to me for a second. Is that better armor than what I have? Because if it is, then maybe I should be wearing it. Right? Yes? Because that was a helmet, right? There was a helmet that said lockpick max, and I don't know what that does, but I want to see if it'll do really good things for me, because if it does, that could be kind of cool. Let's see. We were looking for something that said lockpick max, if we can find it. Although maybe, there's some things I actually don't know how they work. So there is that. Did I miss it? Maybe I did. So I'm mostly learning to cook by being allowed to use any leftovers and mostly canned items and make my own lunch during summers at home. Oh, making really good at by hand measuring seasonings and fiercely combining flavors. I need to be good like that. Now I'm usually the cook whether I like it or not. Half us thinking about you. If anyone wants the first category, go look at Our Flag Means Death. Oh. I need to watch that. I haven't seen it yet. Chef, I haven't seen Chef Millie. It was on Netflix before they had the big break. Oh. I spent the last week making fan art and reviving my Tumblr. Oh, nice. Okay, look, I've been thinking about you. Half it's good to see you. It is good to see you. Yeah. So I'm gonna just note that I saw a thing that said lockpick max, and I don't know if I can find it again, or if it only counts for companions. But it seemed maybe it is only for companions. Maybe that's a thing. In which case, life. But you know what? I think maybe it is. Maybe that is a companion-only situation. That's interesting. Huh. Well, or maybe it only works that way with companions. What do you think? I don't know how some of the rules here but we're gonna give, if they're like, we're gonna find that lockpick max thing and we're gonna give it to him because that seems pretty darn cool. Yeah, look at this ordnance control helmet. Yeah. Okay, well, done. Uh, I don't know what all that means, but that's what we're doing. And we're going to see if we can get a better armor than 62. That is going to be our current goal. And if you notice one, we'll just do it. That is also not going to screw him over. Yes. Oh, it's like Jim. I was turning around canon of Stid Bonnet and Blackbeard. Oh, in that beautifully silly and definitely not historically accurate way, but at the same time, it takes the question: what did fucking Blackbeard put up with? Why did fucking Blackbeard put this weird aristocrat wannabe for months? Oh, neat. Very seriously. Oh, that's cool. Chef was a several season comedy series. I loved it. Oh, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. All right, so I wish. Yeah, I really liked coupling, but I wasn't super excited about the way in which Moffat dealt with River Song and Rose. Yeah. Those were not things I was super excited about. But I did really like yeah. Yeah. But I did really like coupling. Stars out in what we do in the shadows kind of way. Oh, and then goes for that serious characterization with actual representation and a lot of with, oh, I swept. What's the name of it? Something, the flag? All Cormet Slow Burn. Oh, nice. Oh, I need to check it out. Maybe the secret coupling was that it was based on Muppet's real life and grounded that way, while none of the others was. Oh, maybe. Also, it was a comedy. Maybe that also makes a difference because maybe he's better at comedies than he is at dramas. Oh, our flag means death. Our flag means death. 12 minutes. Oh, okay. Thank you. Our flag means death on HBO Max. Okay, our flag means death. Why am I giving him a heavy weapons? By the way, why am I doing that? Is he really a heavy weapons kind of guy? Is this a smart thing that I'm doing for him? What is your cool time ability? Well, I don't know. That's a very good question. I actually don't know what his special ability is. But I don't know if he actually needs... Does he need a... You know what? It's fine. I thought Felix was a heavy weapons guy. So, but at the moment, yeah, I feel like we need to... When I get another perk for him, if I get another perk from him, I'm going to give him that sort of toss ball situation because I feel like he's really good with toss ball stuff. So let's go with, that's 309. 550 for a toss ball stick, right? It's two-handed. Oh, but this is a one-hand, this is 600, right? He's like, that's like very good toss ball situation there, right? So we're going to give him the toss ball because it looks like that's clearly better for him. And this is, yeah, so that's one-handed toss ball. We should probably try to give him that toss ball perk next time around. So I mean, look at this. This is a heavy weapon, and it's way better than what he's currently. Look, I have a question that I do not know the answer to. So I thought I would share with you that I do not know the answer to this question. And that is, do you think how much damage they do with their weapon is dependent on who they are? For example, do you think that he does so well with heavy weapons because he's better suited to heavy weapons? If you see what I'm saying, like, do you think this is right? I mean, I don't know. Like, would I do as well with the same weapons as he would? I don't have answers to these questions. 10 minutes. Go faster. Yes. Yes. We're just so she's Persuade Lockpick Engineer. Her ability is Overload. Okay, hold on. I just learned something. All right. I learned how to figure out some stuff. All right, so her ability is Quick Draw, which is a pistol. So we want her in a pistol. Absolutely, right? That's what we want with her. She's pistol oriented. I'm figuring it out. Felix's special ability is Drop Kick. He charges target, leaps in the air, and slams into the target with both feet. So he very much is a melee weapon person. Right? This is what I'm feeling with him. Mixed ranged. Ooh. Yeah, I suppose they are related. So here's a question. Mixed, primarily attached with melee weapons, will switch between melee range based on the distance to the enemy, only attached with melee weapons. Okay. Okay. By the way, y'all, I have not been doing this for any of my people, and I probably should have been paying attention to that. So she's mixed. And I feel like that makes sense, right? She's mixed. I feel like that's good, right? Yes. I feel like mix is probably better most of the time. Wow. He really does way better with melee damage, so he should just be melee, right? That's probably just a true statement. Yes, because that's... People, I've been irresponsible. But we're going to be responsible now by actually looking at some of these things we've not been looking at. So, I don't know if we should be giving him this really amazing weapon because he is not going to be using it. So let's give him a... Spacer's Light Pistol? Yes. From what I know of Outer Worlds, says Sarf, they don't need to stick fast to their arrival weapons, but it helps to keep them in their wheelhouse, so to say. They do have little advantage in sticking to class. Okay, so I am going to give him a handgun. I don't know if he's super handgunny, if that's like really good for him, but since I suspect we are probably not going to be, we'll be keeping him a little... Yeah, yes. So we're going to give him a handgun. I don't know... yes, handgun? I mean, I could give him like a plasma carbine ultra, but he's clearly better with handguns than he is with that. This is interesting. I feel like I'm learning something here. Ooh, yeah. You're right. I'm gonna be wrapping up in 5. Yes. Okay. This is how we're doing it. Yeah. I just feel like I just am going to probably be better with my companions than I was in the past. And I want you to know this is the feeling that I have. Nyoka, she has Barrage. So she uses her personally modified LMG to deal damage to her target and set enemies ablaze. So she seems to be... I feel like she's good with both melee or ranged. I feel like she's pretty good with that. Live, radius, damage to creatures, cooldown ability, armor. Okay. I feel like it's probably good what we've given her, right? She has uh, she has an LMG, right? So I feel like I think we've got it for her. I think we've got it for her. And uh, I've got 4 minutes. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap it up right now. Because I've got food coming and all that goodness. So I want to thank you all for being here today. It's been very lovely. I am not out of the woods with all this like massive work that I have to do, but I feel like I'm getting out of the woods. Some new, like, by the way, I got elected to the budgeting committee for the university, so that'll be more work. So that's cool. But I feel like I'm emerging from the woods, which will give me a little bit of extra time to do some stuff, which means I'm hoping I'll be able to play the banjo next Saturday. But I'm back. So in an hour, basically about at 4 o'clock Eastern time, over at Table Story, I'll be playing Tidal Blades. I just got some new powers, which, you know. And then tomorrow, which is Sunday at 9 a.m., I'll be playing Simply Divine, Divinity Original Sin with Dot on my channel and her channel. Sunday night at 8 p.m. over at Praxagor the Smophoria, we'll be playing The Witcher Roads Home. And there's some shenanigans there. There's some trouble. We're going to find out what happens with that trouble, and I'm very excited for it. And then next week, same stuff. Thursday, Outer Worlds. Friday, duo episode. Lindy and Greg. We're going to see what happens. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious. And I will say this. You should keep your eyes peeled for perhaps some surprise RPGs in April. Yes, that's what I'm going to say. Love that you're still the main trooper shepherd after all this time. Yes, right, yeah. Carlin keeps me on task and off task at the same time. So, on the bright side, Trooper says Tommy Gifts, Dante woke to find himself in a dark wood, and it ended well for him. That's fair. That's fair. I'm sure it'll go well. So I've got some stuff to do that I think that'll make you all happy when I get to do it, and that I want to do. So that'll be really good. And you know what? Y'all are awesome, and thank you for being here. And I've got some food on the way, and then I'm gonna go and put on a sweater and a fisherman's vest. And I will catch you all later. Bye, everybody. Take care. Ciao.